Good afternoon. It is April 29th, 2021, and this is what we're looking at. It's really funny for me to call this a range day, but that's what it ended up being. Um, as you can see, we're making our way up to these highs right now, but it looked like maybe we had like a downward a range with a downward bias. It's probably just a regular range now, but I drew it off these lows and you can see prices went a little further and backed up. Wait, let me see this. Oh 04. Oh wait, yeah. Um, I took this measured move up from that started from the overnight trend up. Um, Put it here, and prices went a little further than that and bounced. And maybe why they went further than that is because we got this huge downtrend, this massive, strong downtrend. And so I measured that, and then tried to see if prices were going to make a measured move, and they failed to do so. And Mac usually says when prices fail to reach that target, they tend to go pretty far in the other direction. So I think that's probably what happened here. And it came up very short of that target. It came up about 8 points short of that target. So that's when prices started flying this way. Not too many trades today, guys. And there's this awesome trap. I got trapped right here today, and I really want to talk about that because I think it was a psychological error, mental error. Really awesome trap. If you went long there and you could see that, that's a beast move right there. Um, but let's take a look at these trades. So I posted a video of a very aggressive trade earlier, or not very aggressive, but aggressive. We have this massive trend up, it breaks, we get this slight upward channel. It's actually a first entry, second entry, third entry. I didn't see that, but you could use this as your signal bar. And if you went long about that, that's kind of like going long here. But yeah, it's just a little too congestive in hindsight. But but it worked. It's an engulfing bar, so I like that. Once it ticks higher, I guess it's an engulfing bar, and it does work. It's off the trend channel and it's off the EMA. So yeah, we get this leg up to a new high, and then we get this leg up to a new high, and that's when it starts reversing. That's a perfect reversal. I didn't even note that in my analysis. So it's textbook reversal. And shout out to whoever it was in the forum the other day that pointed out, like, oh, you actually drew this correctly. It was like you had this overnight trend, and then you had a leg up to a new high, and then a second leg up to a new high. And that's what we're seeing right here. So shout out to that person. I forget who it was. You get a second entry right here too. Probably wouldn't go long there personally, just because of I took my chances here and it worked out. And here it's looking even more congested than it was right here. So, but if you took that, it is a second entry long. Then we get the reversal. Boom, we get a bounce. Um, and we're back into this congestive area that I had marked. So keep that in mind. So that's why I marked this as aggressive because um, it's a second entry short, so that's a good thing. But it's back into congestion. We didn't have this channel drawn. So I think that's really the only reason why I'm marking this as aggressive is because it's above the EMA. But that if you took that on a second entry short back into congestion, that's a big move. Good move right there. Um, yeah, and then the trend just starts. And I don't see much until here. Boom. And why did I mark this? Okay, this is a second entry short. It breaks higher and then breaks lower. So it's a second entry short. It's also looks like a failed second entry long. And it's off the trend channel. So good move there. We make our way down. That might be an aggressive entry right there. It's a breakout pullback. And then we form this steeper channel. I don't know if you can see that. Okay. And then if you were looking at this steeper channel, you do get a good second entry short off that, but the bar is just a doji. but I marked it as aggressive. It's off the steeper channel and the EMA. Um, yeah, so you get that there. Um, I measured this move right here. And so guys, so here's what I want to talk about. All right. This swing and this swing, and I'm curious to see what Max says, but this looks like an overshoot to me. And then that leads to another overshoot. We don't quite get the break yet. That leads to an overshoot, some congestion. I had the trend channel drawn like this, okay? But when I saw this setup for a second entry short, or what is that? Failed second entry long off this high, first entry, second entry with a perfect signal bar. I was like, I convinced myself to take the trade. I was like, oh, well, maybe the trend channel's down here. And this is just the midline. Look, you see some bounces off that midline. But what I've noticed is that if you have a midline, it's like perfect. So look at when you draw it here, look at how these things are perfectly touching that midline. Okay, here it's probably right here. Let's see right there. Look at how this channel right here, it's perfectly sliding across that midline. Okay, let's see what else. Uh, get some perfect touches here, and it just wasn't perfect when I had it drawn off these lows. So don't trust your channels. There's an example later where you can tell. Uh, I don't know where I'm thinking about it, but trust your trend lines, guys. So look, this gets congestive. It's hard to see that congestion. So I will say that it was hard to see that congestion, but we get a first entry, second entry, okay, off of my trend line. So I'm stoked. I'm like, oh, this is a great entry. Failed second entry short. Go short right at the trend channel. Space back to the EMA. Well, it actually was only 4 ticks back to the EMA, and that's where it stopped. And I think maybe when I saw that bounce off the EMA, and these are stacking up. And this is a doji. I should have probably exited uh, with like a tick or break even. But that was a terrific trap, and I am going to learn a lot from this. Look, it's going back and forth too. So something to think about. I really like that trap for a learning experience, and I really want to hear some feedback on this. So anyway, we break out of this long-term channel, and you get one leg up, two legs up, and then you get a first entry, failed second entry short off of that. That would confirm the trend channel. Boom, great entry. And get some sideways action here. I don't think you can enter on this. This is 13 ticks anyway. I don't think I'd enter there. And that just looks like it's going into the bottom of congestion. Then we get this steep fall. I don't think I drew this trend channel right. It's probably just like one leg, two legs down. Let's see. That's how I'm seeing it here. No. Maybe there. Get a little overshoot, leads to a break. I don't see any entries in here. And then we get this upward trend. So you get a first entry. This isn't a failed second entry short, but you might take this on a lower high, especially after this overshoot. You might look at that as a higher low, excuse me. Then it gets congested, and I'd probably just back out anyway. So here, what was I looking at here? This is the first entry. Okay, so this is the failed second entry short here. It's aggressive. It's definitely aggressive because we had a overshoot and a break. I don't know what's going on here, so you might not want that. Um, can't enter here, even though it looks good. And then prices, I'm looking at this here. That's a big bar though, but that's a first entry. No, this is a second entry. So this is just a higher low, but this looks good. And then this looks good too. Shoot, you know what? That's an aggressive entry right there because that's a failed second entry short. Um, but after that, it's just this is a second entry long, but the signal bar just closed a little bit too bearish for me, and it looks like we have this channel down. Um, Again here, this is off the, well, you wouldn't have had that trend channel drawn. Yeah, it was like a spiking channel right here. Not much you could enter on though. And then let's see, this maybe. No, that's like a first, second, third, fourth entry, failed fourth entry short, and it's just congestive. So I don't think you can enter this. At some point here, there was like this, like an engulfing bar, but look how far that is from the EMA. And of course, it would have worked out. And then here, I'm going to mark this, but I don't know. This is a second entry long, first entry, second entry long. But here's the thing. We had gone a little past our measured move at this point, and we're on the other side of that slight downward biased um, range or channel. So that's aggressive. It's like a pullback off the measured move though, and you would have gotten a nice scalp out of it. This probably would have scared you to death though. Yeah, now it's just looking congested. So guys, I really hope you watch that trap, study that trap that I marked. Okay, that's going to be a really good one, especially for us beginners and intermediate traders. Um, if there's anything I missed, let me know. But that's what I saw for today, and I'll be back tomorrow.